make sure that you are following Accelerant on LinkedIn. You can also find myself and Elizabeth Bernberg there. A lot of the tips and tricks, things we teach within these webinars that we're doing, we share them all the time. So make sure you're following us on LinkedIn, follow Accelerant on LinkedIn. We got some cool stuff we like to throw on Facebook and Instagram too. You'll learn more about the team, more about Accelerant, who we are, what we do, how we do it, the people behind the scenes, all those types of things. And we can go ahead and get started here in just a moment.
I like it, Ben. One other thing, y'all, we're in the conference circuit right now. We are moving and shaking. Ben and I've been already on a handful of trips. We've got a few more planned. Let us know where you're headed. If there are any other events that you're going to this year, if we're going there or not, we'd love to know. We're always trying to figure out the best places to be and connect with our partners and new potential prospects. So keep us posted.
All right. Well, I think we've got lots of folks in here already. We can go ahead and get it started, Elizabeth. Hopefully we can make this one short and sweet for everybody today. As a quick reminder, we are recording this session, and we're also going to send out the recording and the deck to everybody afterwards. So today we're talking about, and it's actually a nice little transition, based off of last month's webinar about how to stand out from the competition. This is not only helping yourself stand out from the competition, but how to solidify yourself as a digital leader in your community. As Elizabeth mentioned before, we were at the Burrell conference last week, and this is a big topic of discussion. There's all these digital transformations that are happening, and not just when it comes to different types of products to sell your clients and things like that, but all across the board, across your entire organization. So today we want to talk a little bit about how you can develop a strong team and culture, how to bring ideas and solutions to the table for your clients, and also how to help your advertising work smarter and not harder. As a reminder, my name is Ben Bouslog. I am the Vice President of Business Development, joined today by the lovely one and only Elizabeth Bernberg. Thanks a lot for joining me today, E. Always a pleasure doing this with you.
Likewise, my friend.
Thank you so much. And so, we always like to get these things started off with some questions. So Elizabeth, when we're thinking about how we're solidifying ourselves as a leader in the community, when it comes to digital in particular, how do we get started? What kind of questions should we be considering here?
Totally. We've got a few right here that kind of set the tone, if you will. And just side note, how do you like the green? I'm feeling, St. Patty's, the money green, spring, it's all the things, right?
It's like revenue. It's like revenue and it's like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right?
It is like a full pot of gold here. Well,
a lot of revenue.
Right. That being said, we like to always ask these questions, rhetorical questions for you to kind of just think about in the back of your mind. How would you describe your current company culture? What are you all about? Why does your company do what it does? What is your why? Right? To deliver the best content and news media and connection to local communities, to provide the best community updates and information. What is your why? And how does that correlate back to sales, right? Back to what you can do from a mission statement and then translate that, of course, to your advertisers. Speaking of mission statements, what is it? Do your sellers know your mission statement? Is it a part of your branding initiative? That's definitely something that should be always at the forefront of how your team is approaching conversations with advertisers. Everything they do, they say, should be in alignment, right, with that mission statement. All right. How does your team approach client conversations about digital? What's your approach right now? Are you discussing goals and objectives with solutions? Or are you product pitching? What does that look like right now? Think about the last managers. Think about the last sales calls that you've been on with your team member. AEs, you all just probably got back from some calls right now. What was, let's have some reflective moments right here. What was that like? What were you talking about? Where do you go to find relevant data and information to include in client meetings? What are your resources? Who are your resources? Are they accessible? Are they people? Is it websites? Is it your own internal data, your own internal business intelligence that can really provide some robust data to support your clients' goals and objectives and support your conversations? All right, last question. What kinds of tools, business intelligence, metrics, and data do you leverage to support smarter marketing and advertising? So the last two questions go hand in hand. What kind of data right now, since we're in the data world, right? This is big data, this is all data. That's the new currency pretty much, right? And how we all do business. How are you accessing this kind of information? What tools do you have? What tools do your sellers have to easily get this information to then present it to your advertisers? Okay, I'm off my soapbox with those questions. You all know where we're going with this. So let's plow. Ben, tell us about Accelerant. I know so many of you are awesome and amazing partners. We've got a great amount of prospects on here too. It's always good to touch about who we are, what we're all about, and then dive into the meat and potatoes.
Thanks a lot, Elizabeth. I'm excited about this one today too, because I want, the things that we're sharing here, it's not things that we don't know about. We actively do a lot of these things internally ourselves, and we're going to share more about how we do that too. But to get started, Accelerant is a technology and digital advertising company, and we're focused on leveraging technology and marketing that make the complexity of digital simple. We understand far too much that it's not easy. Digital is constantly evolving. We need to make it as simple as possible. Elizabeth asked one question before. Are you product pitching or are you solution pitching? Are you providing solutions or are you providing products? So that's what we are here to do, is help you guys understand how to bring solutions to the table for your customers. Well, when we think about that, culture really matters. Accelerant, and I think I speak on behalf of Elizabeth and myself when we say how excited we are to have such an awesome culture internally ourselves, but it's not just about what we have internally, it's about what we radiate to all of our partners and our clients and their customers and their clients as well. I love that in these decks that we actually have, these are all Accelerant photos. That is inside the Accelerant office in Denver, Colorado. A few of our colleagues that we like to always spend some time with whenever we're back in town, right? But culture matters so much, Elizabeth. So we have to think about how we're maintaining these cultures. I was actually on a media summit webinar a few weeks ago, and a gentleman by the name of Jamie Cohen, he's the SVP of Digital and Broadcast for Salem Surround. He mentioned sales enablement is not what it used to be. It's totally changed. It's completely different. They've changed their entire culture to be able to have this new approach to how they're selling audiences and solutions and not just products, right? But culture eats strategy for breakfast. Tell me what that means, Elizabeth.
Oh my gosh, I love this statement so much. I'm going to just throw this out there real quick, y'all. I'm going back to school. So I've been reading so much and just diving into so many cool things and learning about, culture, organizations and revenue and, the whole 9 yards. So this really, stood out to me. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. If you don't have a strong culture that the entire company is supporting and getting around and really, echoing right to your advertisers, your strategy becomes moot, right? Because that means your team is really not getting fully involved into what you are doing every single darn day and what matters most to you and your stakeholders, right? So culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's got to be first and foremost.
I love it. I think this almost means to me people by people, right?
Totally.
Reminds me of that time we were working with that partner down in Texas, and I grew up in Iowa, but you grew up in Texas, and they wanted to talk to somebody from Texas. They're like, I want to talk to that lady, not you.
Right? That's what we do.
People by people.
Your success in life isn't based on your ability to simply change. It is based on your ability to change faster than your competition, customers, and business. So how does this also relate to culture, right? How are you leaning into and embracing change? This is a part of our world, right? This is not new to any industry. Change is always happening. We have to be open to it and, aware of it and try and not be afraid of it, right? If we are, and we don't want to kind of address the gorilla in the room, that gorilla is going to eat us for breakfast. Right?
I think, this means a lot to me because I know at Accelerant, we're so accepting of change because we think change is good. Change is only here to make us better, faster, stronger, more efficient, things like that. It's not about making change to, throw people off. It's on purpose. It's like, yeah, you got to start flexing muscles that you don't typically understand. But I wish I would have put this in the presentation. I just saw a statistic. It was actually published by Salesforce a few weeks ago. It said 78% of salespeople need to change the way that they sell in order to adapt to the new way that their industry is actually working. 78, almost 4 out of every 5 salespeople need to change and adapt in order to continue to be able to do it.
Exactly. And what worked 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, is not working necessarily today, meaning your approach maybe with clients, or what kind of goals and objectives they might have, or, maybe new entrants into their industry that have to address when you're talking about marketing strategy, right? This is constantly changing. So just going back, and this kind of fits in perfectly with this quote, right? If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. All right. Strong company cultures deliver happy employees and customers. Y'all, these two things go together. I cannot, just focus on that enough, because when your sellers, your managers, your operations people, your traffickers, your team members, your client specialists, when everyone again is focused and behind that mission statement and feels that support and understands the purpose of their job and how they contribute to the success of the company at large and the success of these clients, that is all the difference. And guess what? Your clients feel that. They see it in the communication between you and your organization. They feel it in your marketing and how you are representing yourself in the marketplace. They see it, and guess what? They want to mirror it. They want to mirror you. So making sure you know what that purpose is, what is your why, and you're really focusing on that and having it be a part of your conversations with your advertisers.
I want to say real quick, this means so much to me right here. I see it every day. I'm so lucky that I've been with our company for as long as I have. We align our company mission across every single department of our team. Whether you're in finance, whether you're an engineer, whether you're sales, operations, creative, anything, there is a very specific purpose that all of us are here, and we align ourselves with that. You guys can find that. It's time to find that why, to start aligning everybody underneath that, each and every single department.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of a perfect segue into the common language, the values, the standards. What do you all hold yourself to, right? We're all professionals. We've all been in this space for probably a long time, right? There's some great veterans here on this call, but how do these actions of the entire team collectively, again, that communication, that one-on-one time with clients, that even internal discussions about strategy or who you're working with in terms of your partners, right? How does that reflect the values and standards of your organization? Your clients want to be working with the best of the best. You are the best of the best in your community, in your marketplace, highlighting those amazing elements of your culture to your clients and what you really hold near and dear to your heart. We love transparency. We love honesty. We want to be sure we're as professional as possible at all times, and that we're leaning into that as a part of our communication with partners. So define common language that focuses on your values and standards. Lead by example. I mean, this is not new to anyone, right? This is not, this is not anything groundbreaking. These are just reminders that, we even have to remind ourselves, it's important to set the tone. And that comes from the top down, right? Top down will set that tone, leading by example, being transparent, being innovative, being curious, right? Your advertisers, your clients, your internal clients, you guys have to still have the internal sell too, right? Why we're doing what we're doing on the digital side or on the content side or on the news side, why it's so important and why we need to focus on this. Lead by example.
I think this is a big part of it, Elizabeth. I mean, you already know this. I'm a bit enthusiastic about what I get to do every day. And, I love sharing that enthusiasm. I love sharing the ideas and even challenging the status quo sometimes. That is okay to challenge the status quo, you guys. I can't stress that enough. It's okay to challenge. But when you challenge it, be objective. Make sure you come to the table with an idea, not just an idea, but proof of why you're challenging it. And if you're going to do it, fail fast. I mean, unless it works, right? But
well, shoot,
it's okay to challenge.
Exactly. And those moments of even, maybe falling short of the goal, right? Oof, those are such great learning opportunities to then bring it better, have it be better next time, right? So don't be afraid of that either. Company ambassadors, guess who one of ours is, if not the guy at Adcelerant? Find your cheerleader, right? Who is drinking the Kool-Aid all day, every day, whether it's someone who's a new hire or been there forever or knows the ins and outs, a people person. They do follow the mission. They believe in it. Those people should be talking to your advertisers as well, because just like Ben was saying, that excitement, that passion, that's contagious. And your advertisers want to work with people who believe as strongly in their mission as your advertisers believe in what they do. Right? Their products, their services, how they support their customers. Be truthful and communicative. I mean, we don't need to dive into that. That's a no-brainer, right? Whatever the news, give it to them straight. Always treat people right. Professionalism at its best. But these are just, elements that really, from a leadership standpoint, and of course, when we get into the digital space, these all support what your AEs end up, when they end up having those conversations with those advertisers, these key elements about what happens when they go back to the office and how they're feeling and how they're putting together these proposals and the support that they're getting, that's all gonna be totally visible to the advertiser, right then and there. So keep that in mind. And this is something really, I thought super cool to see. This is from the Harvard Business Review, dimensions of company culture, right? People interactions versus how people respond to change. So, where are you guys on this, in this little matrix right here? Where's your company really falling? Caring and results, that's typically the top two focuses for every single company, right? You got to care about your team, your internal team, you care about your customers. You care about your community, obviously, all stakeholders. You care about the results, right? You got to be making money. You got to be doing what's best for the organization. And of course, what's best for the clients to, live to see another day, right? Another year, another decade, continue to do what we do. But look at those other organizational culture elements. Learning, enjoyment, right? If you love what you do, if you're having fun doing what you do, that's going to be incredibly apparent to your advertiser. Authority, safety, do you feel comfortable, right? And the order and organization of the actual company itself, what does that look like? So I definitely encourage, when we send out this deck, check out these links, read the information here. There's some really cool content in here.
As our workforce continues to get younger and younger as well, I'm thinking about these Gen Zers who are now starting to percolate into our workforce, you guys. You have to think about what's most important to them too, because we've seen time and time again, they're not spending a lot of time. It's like, finding a job is like dating. Oh, I don't like you. We'll on to the next, right? Yeah. We have to be able to create a culture, create an environment that's, conducive to them in not just growing themselves professionally, but personally as well. And it's tough to do, especially in some of these legacy organizations. But we encourage you to challenge that status quo and make sure that you're taking the bull by the horns there. It's okay to do that. You just want the success for yourselves, and we want to help you with it as well. So feel free to let us know if we can help out with, help you understand how Adcelerant does this kind of stuff.
Exactly. And, last slide, on the culture beat here, we should have played Culture Club, like Karma Chameleon. That's what we should have played. Anyway, I'm keeping on the 80s theme here, y'all, if you haven't noticed. But remember that quote, culture eats strategy for breakfast. I love this. When aligned with strategy and leadership, a strong culture drives positive organizational outcomes. There it is right there. Organizational outcomes are directly tied to those positive moments, deals, conversations that you are having with your advertisers. In a dynamic, uncertain environment in which organizations become more agile, learning gains more importance. So are you able to be flexible, right? And kind of adjust and ebb and flow to these new things across the entire industry, not just digital marketing, but across the entire industry and how it's impacting the way you do business? Are you agile, right? Are you leaning into the learning side of it as well and how that's going to further support your company? Selecting or developing leaders for the future, right? Forward-looking strategy. Ben just touched on, the younger generation coming up. Super important to think about who's going to be running the show, sooner than later. And then in a merger, right? We all know, we in media, this happens a lot, right? There are mergers, pieces are being sold, pieces are being bought, stations, newspapers, the whole 9 yards. So in a merger, designing a new culture on the basis of complementary strengths can speed up integration and create more value over time.
I think
some great nuggets.
When we look at these things, Elizabeth, when we look at all these things, it's I think a lot of the audience here is able to feel like, what, this is right. We've got to be able to adapt to the changing environments. Technology has changed us. These people are changing. The processes are changing. We can't just leave culture the way it is because it has to evolve with everything else. So thinking about why culture is so important, you're not just being passionate and knowledgeable about what you're doing or what others are doing, but when you're able to be progressive and adapt to those current, not just marketing trends, but cultures within the industries, you're able to have easier conversations. You're able to close more deals. You're able to grow more revenue, build more camaraderie, and build a better team. So I think that this goes a long way too. I think we were able to really feel it last week at the Burrell conference with some of our clients, but our culture is expressed dearly through the conversations that we have with our clients. I see a few people who are on the call with us today who I know we were able to talk with, but it's exciting to see those things. And it just makes it that much easier to have those kinds of conversations, even if it's a tough conversation to have sometimes, right? We're all running businesses here.
I love it. All right, Ben, you keep rolling, my friend. So ideas and solutions, how you coming to the table, right? What's the strategy behind table prep?
Well, when you're solidifying yourself as a digital leader in your communities, and you're talking with your advertisers, you can't just go out there, approach them willy-nilly and say, oh, I've got the silver on the platter here, and then this is the silver bullet that we're going to be providing you guys. It's not like that anymore. These advertisers are so much smarter now than they were just a few years ago, even, because they've been getting conditioned by working with all these different media partners. So make sure that you're researching them some more. Be a subject matter expert on them and not necessarily your products. So you have to bring these different solutions to the table for them. So ways that you can do this and prove it is make sure you have case studies ready to go. And then even have business intelligence on them or ask them for certain types of business intelligence. Hey, what products do you guys have that are the highest grossing profit that you have? What are new initiatives that you guys are rolling out? Is there a new audience of people that you're trying to get in front of? Understand their business intelligence so you can provide a better solution for them. And it's not just about putting products on the table. It's about putting together a full omni-channel approach for them so that they can truly see the cash register ring and they're seeing the needle move for them. So you can even put things together like advertiser forums or seminars and webinars, bringing them all in and let them talk about it. What do they want from their marketing partners, right? What did they expect out of you each and every single time that they come and have that meeting with you, or you go and have that meeting with them? It's okay to ask those questions. one of the things that I love doing in particular is asking those hard questions, right? Because when we ask those hard questions, we're able to uncover more pain points with them. So when you bring these new ideas to them, you have to continue to be curious about it. Have they ever used video assets before? We know that video is growing tremendously. It creates, over 2 times more brand awareness with people when we're actually running those videos. Do they have any professionally produced commercials? Have they updated their website lately? Have they done a competitive analysis and seen what their competitors are doing? God bless the USA in this capitalist society, because competition is plentiful for everybody. There's not a single advertiser out there that I think has a unique product, right? Everybody's doing something almost the same, just slightly different. They just spin it a little differently. So find out what they need to grow their new revenue streams, how to help them continue to grow, how to open up that second location, how to open up that 5th location, how to grow into the region and not just locally. So understand and bring those ideas to the table for them and challenge them. Hey, have you thought about opening up a second branch? Have you thought about what that would do for your business? Have you thought about how you can scale these types of things so that we can make you a case study? Those are new ideas that you can always bring. And I think it's so important now more than ever before. And, because of what technology has done for us, we're able to work smarter and not just harder. That's our boy Connor in the screen right there.
I love his shirt.
He's got plenty of Hawaiian shirts he likes to wear. So when we think about working smarter and not just harder, a lot of things matter. First off, you can't just bring anything that's regular old commoditized digital to the table. You got to be able to tell them why your digital is better than their digital. A lot of the differentiators that Adcelerant uses to win business, our partners are able to use to win business. Prioritizing your delivery on the top tier publisher sites with the most reputable traffic, having or including natural day parting and excluding low quality times of day, including brand safety measures and increasing viewability rates through different tactics that you can leverage. Also, delivery insurance. AI can only go so far, you guys. We rely a lot on AI, but what Adcelerant has done is we've created this perfect marriage between the AI and the human touch to provide the best performing campaigns out there, because we understand AI, their tweaks can only go so far. The human touch is able to make a more dramatic approach or dramatic optimization to let it hit sooner than later, right? And having things like performance guarantees that you can bring to the table. These are all differentiators that Adcelerant brings to the table that you can use to win for your business as well.
Ben, I want to add a personal note to this slide. Many of you may or may not know, I'm a former Adcelerant partner myself. Right. On the broadcast side, I've grilled Ben prior to working for him a zillion times from tomorrow, and questions and, how is this going to impact my team from a training standpoint? How are we going to be able to really, shift these dollars into our favor? If this client is already maybe working with another digital provider, I need something more than just impressions and even clicks, right? At the end of the day, quality is paramount here. So these are the things that I and my team went to our advertisers with. We actually ended up running several back-to-back test campaigns with another provider at the time. And you know what? The quality of the campaign running through Adcelerant, the stickiness on the actual client website, the bounce rate wasn't ridiculous. The engagement, the tracking in and of itself, y'all, that the Adcelerant team has in that reporting dashboard, that helps you with the story, right? That shows you from a brand safety level, not only where everything is serving, right? But making sure that we're not serving ads like a Ford ad next to copy about a recent automotive accident, right? That these elements are in place to make sure that it is the best experience for our partners and for our advertisers, your advertisers. So I cannot just tell you enough about this from my own experience, because Sure, there are a lot of things out there that are going to give you zillions of impressions and oh my gosh, all these clicks. When you peel back the layers, and I highly advise y'all to do that, ask, if you're working with other providers, ask these detailed questions, right? Make sure you're seeing a complete site list of where everything is served. Make sure you are integrating your client's Google Analytics into their reporting dashboard to take a deeper look at those metrics and how the campaign is truly performing. Make sure that you have performance guarantees in place for display. Okay, impressions are great. Can we guarantee clicks? And also with all of these quality controls as well that Ben just touched on. So I'm going to get off yet another soapbox here, but really, this is what sets the tone also with your advertisers. Quality equals long-term effectiveness, long-term relationships with your clients. If you want something transactional and you just want, quantity, that's going to be churn and burn, y'all. Quality is long-term.
I would challenge the handful of folks that are on this webinar right now, or the handful that are going to be watching the recording afterwards. Please reach out to me and Elizabeth. Let's talk about running a test side by side with what your current platform is doing.
Absolutely.
I see Benita, I see Lori on the call. I'd love to run some tests back and forth, but don't use my metrics. Don't use my dashboard to tell the truth here. Let's use a third party to see exactly where you guys can get better types of reporting for your clients. Where is it really going to matter on their websites? We love those things. When we think about not just quality, you have to lean into your tools and your resources as well. Get your clients involved in the planning process. We've got this absolutely stellar proposal tool. It's got over 1 million different targeting elements. If you can sit here and tell your client who owns a baby store or a maternity store, hey, we can target moms who shop like crazy, or people who are, getting married, or people who are, expecting a baby. People who are, young mothers between the ages of so-and-so, we can hit that specific audience and prove it in your tools and in your reporting. What would they say about that? You can be proactive and transparent about these recommendations and help set better expectations with them as well. So you can show them, hey, we're not just hitting anything. We're not just going to hit this wide area. We're going to dial it in specifically. And other tools you can use, pre-sales tools. We've got some stellar tools built directly within UI.marketing, where you can get local SEO scans, organic SEO scans, even our device ID audience insight reports to actualize your profile of audience before you even sell it to your clients. Show them exactly who they're getting in front of and who they need to get in front of so you can help them build their audience, build their business, and continue to push there. And finally, other resources. Elizabeth, the best resource we have of all, our people.
People
Into our people. If you need help, you get the help. You don't have to just submit a ticket and say, hey, pick up the phone, call them, shoot them a text. I got some people who Snapchat me. But we want to be able to make sure that you're connecting with those folks. So if you've got a cool piece of technology, great. But if you only have a manual to go along with it, it might be a little tough to make things happen. Make sure you lean into our people as well. Their success does not come without your success. Finally, not just tools and resources, not just the quality of what you're providing here, focus on the metrics that matter. Leveraging our reporting dashboard, dialing into these specific types of campaigns, tracking your conversions, understanding how to tell a better story of success. It's so important. This is where you can literally help your clients understand from soup to nuts. These are the metrics that matter. Here's the metrics that we're going to be reporting on. Here's how we're telling that story of success. So now we can not just retain and renew, we can upsell our folks too, and then use that as a case study to drive new business. You just hit the 3 spots to drive your revenue for your business by focusing in on one piece of your client's business, focusing in on the metrics that matter. Our team is here to help you guys make sure you're tracking the right things there as well.
This reporting dashboard to the details and analytics, this is information, that supports obviously, the campaign that we ran, goes into those specific ways in which we can maybe be better, right? How can we further optimize and talk about renewals and retention? And let's extend this campaign another 3 months, another 6 months. Y'all, this also aligns with many of your mission statements probably, and how you align with your community. We want to provide the best information, transparent news, and support our local community stakeholders, right? That's what this is doing from a sales standpoint. That's exactly what this is doing. So take those translations, even from a news standpoint, apply it to your sales, because this talk about alignment, right? But this data right here, this is going to really make or break what that long-term relationship looks like. And it then empowers your sellers to take on that consultative role.
It absolutely does.
Absolutely.
So we need to put it all together. So Elizabeth, for this group, in order for them to be ready to be the digital leader in their community, to make these transformations, to lean into them, how do we do this? And I'm thinking not just your third-party digital, using it Severance as your third-party digital provider. What other parts do they need to lean into?
Ben, how'd you know what I was going to say? This first bullet point here, this is near and dear to me, because I've been on the print side, I've been on the broadcast side, I've been at the association side, I've worn all the hats. Lean into digital transformation across all areas of the business. So when you think about where you are today, radio, television, agencies, right, newspaper, magazines, where you are today, and what technology and what digital solutions that you have that support maybe your accounting, maybe your marketing automation, maybe it's trafficking of your assets, right? Think about what you've already invested in from a technology standpoint and a digital standpoint to support other areas of your business. This should also be in place, of course, when it comes to sales, not just on the efficiency of the, a CRM, or this is how we're, an order management system, which is of course needed and great, but how are we also applying that to our revenue strategies, our growth strategies from a revenue standpoint? All right. Embracing change. We've talked about this. I mean, I'm just singing it all day, every day. Change is a good thing. Change is a great thing. It's directly related to progress. We got to have it, period. And it can be scary. It is scary. I mean, I think about just your kids growing up. I mean, I have a teenager in high school. That's scary. Y'all with high schoolers, high five me. It's scary, but it's so exciting to see the progress that they've made, and where they're going from here, right? And how they're kind of ingraining themselves in this new world. It's the same thing with business, more or less, right? It's not on the personal side, but you gotta ebb and flow with change. You gotta lean into it. Creating that accountability, tracking progress. Okay, we've been talking about data too. Okay, now I'm gonna get serious. That accountability piece is so crucial. I mean, this is really going to help set, KPIs and benchmarks and the right blueprint for success, for strategy that your team is going to be able to accomplish. If you don't have that accountability feature from the top down, with those metrics, and that also your partners, your digital partners, are helping you achieve, which, by the way, they should be, then that's going to, rock the boat, right? The boat's not going to be sailing to where you need it to go. So tracking progress for everyone, wherever, and this is not micromanaging, this is business today. You've got to understand the data and that internal business intelligence to make sure you're optimizing your go-to-market strategy accordingly.
I have to tell everybody real quick, you are not alone. Totally. Elizabeth and I use this on ourselves, on our team, every single day. We have to create our own accountability. But when we track all these things, we actually use Salesforce as like our activity tracker and all the things going on in Salesforce, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. Meaning you're not going to be able to make the right decisions. You need to feed business intelligence back into your own business to make data-driven and scientific decisions for your business. When you do this, you're going to be able to weed out the things that don't work, and you're going to be able to embellish and really support the things that are working really, really well. Because when you have that, it's so important that you have that accountability feature in there. Track it. That's one of the best things I love about our knowledge base. We always say double down on training, triple down on training. Yep. We have the accountability feature in there. I can tell you if somebody's logging in, how much time they spent in there, if they watched the video, if they took the quiz, if they scored on the quiz, or if they didn't do any of that. If they ain't succeeding, you should know why they're not succeeding, because you can make these changes to them, but you need the data to be able to see it.
No surprises.
If you have CRMs in place, if you've invested in technologies and your team is not using it, there's an issue right there. That's even down to a culture issue, potentially. But they need to be leveraging these things. So create that accountability for them and maintain consistency. We just heard from one of our partners the other day that their entire team uses the exact same pitch. You might have a little bit of different flavor on it, right? Elizabeth, you and I have the exact same pitch. Yep. We got some different flavors. You got a little bit of green. I got a little bit of blue going on. But we overcome these things together. And hurdles too. Understanding where these hurdles are and how we can overcome them, they repeat themselves. Each and every single one of these things repeat themselves. History repeats itself.
Right. And
remember, it all comes from the top down. If it doesn't come and start at the top, it ain't going to work. You have to lead by example. With my team, I'm down in the weeds with them. And so this is actually something that's we shared last week at Burrell, because we talked to all of our different media company partners that we work with, even agencies too. And these are tips that they've shared with us about how they can solidify themselves or how they have solidified themselves. And they're sharing it with you as well. Yep. Create your rally cry, align your culture, align your sales teams, and align your systems and processes. It's not the same as it used to be. We need to change. Tip number 2, double down on your training. Be the subject matter expert on your clients, not your products. Obviously, you need to be a little bit dangerous with your products, but you need to be the subject matter experts on your clients and bring solutions to them. Number 3, prospect smart. You have all these clients already, bring them all into the room. Let's educate them. Let's show them the cool things that you can do. Show them what device ID targeting does. Run an SEO audit for them. Get your foot in the door one way or another. Ask us if you need help doing that. Retain and renew. Remember, focusing on the metrics that matter goes so far. You align your expectations from the beginning through the end. You will not just retain and renew, but you will upsell them as well. And finally, continue to be the leader, not just the authority in news and information, but be the authority in local marketing. You all have exactly what it takes. You have the tools, you have the teams, you can make all these things happen, and you can hold your people accountable. Lori just told me she gives quizzes to her team to keep her staff accountable as well. That is awesome. Create your own quizzes. If you have any questions on how this digital transformation is happening and working with other digital or other companies, and you might need a little bit of help with it, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to share some tribal knowledge with you about how we see our most successful partners being able to do these things. We'd also share some tribal knowledge about what we do internally to maintain the great culture that we have. I see Henry, Lynn, and Carolina on that picture right there. I'm Ben Bouslog. This is Elizabeth Bernberg. Thank you so much for everything. We'll keep it open for just a few moments.
Yeah.
If you want to, Lori says another one. She does community webinars with the assistance of Etsart. They say, are you in the digital dark? That's awesome. Great testimonials, case studies. Lori, you're great.
You are, Lori.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to use the question or the Q&A feature that we have here. We would love to answer them live. We'll type them into the box if we need to as well. As a reminder, we will be sending this recording out to everybody along with the deck. What else am I missing? Oh, go follow Etsart on LinkedIn, on social media.
Yeah, connect with us.
And remember, go for the green, whether that's your St. Patrick's Day beer, whether that's the jacket you're wearing, I think we prefer to be in revenue, but we want you guys to be successful too. We'll look forward to talk to everybody soon, okay?
Go for the green. Cheers.